This video is sponsored by Squarespace.
This is the Huion Canvas 22 Plus. This is the 2020 version of their larger budget pen displays, and today we're going to be checking it out. Hello, my name is Brad, and I review tech for creative professionals, and I want to point out at the very beginning of this video that the Huion 22 Plus is not a full computer. Kind of looks like a computer, but it's just a pen display. It's a screen that attaches to your laptop or desktop computer, and you can draw on it using the included pen. If you check out Huion's website, there are two versions of this display. There's the 22, which is a little bit less expensive, and then there's the 22 Plus, which is what I'm looking at today. So what is the difference? Mainly just the quality of the display. The Plus has a better color range, the lamination process is also better, and it has an etched glass screen instead of just a matte coating, which should hold up longer. So let's take a look at everything that comes in the box. Of course, you have the big pen display itself. You also have the stand. It comes with some screws and you have to attach it yourself. It's pretty easy to do. It even comes with the little screwdriver doohickey. We have a power block, and we also have the power cord. There are also connector cables. This is a 3-in-1 cable that has USB, HDMI, and power all connected through one USB-C input, which goes into the display itself. There's also a USB Type-C cable here. That's for connecting your phone. More on that in a minute. Hey, look at this, it's the pen. And also a little holder for the pen. And if you open it up, what's around the back? Hey, extra pen nibs. We also have the instructions and a cleaning cloth, and oh yeah, a drawing glove. So let's break down these specs. This is a 22-inch screen. It is full HD, that's 1920 by 1080, and it's an IPS display. It has a 140% sRGB color range, which is solid. It looks great. And it's also better than many of the other displays that Huion has made for their tablets up to this point. The screen has that etched glass coating that cuts down on glare, also feels really good to draw on. It gives a little bit of resistance for your pen. Now this is a laminated display, and it is really well laminated. It looks really good. Now, I talk about lamination a lot on this channel over the last 2 or 3 years. A lot of these companies have been adding this to their pen displays. Now what it does is it reduces the amount of space between the glass and the screen below it, and when you reduce that space, it makes your pen more accurate when it actually touches the surface. There's just less displacement between the pen tip and the cursor below it. It's been pretty good for a couple years now, but the way they've laminated this display is on the higher end of things that you usually see. In fact, it's better than almost every other display I've seen like this. It looks more like something you'd see on a tablet or a cell phone. They've really reduced that space. It goes a long way to making this look more modern and more premium. The pen it comes with is battery free, which is nice. You never got to replace anything, never got to charge it. It also has 8,128 levels of pen pressure, as well as 60 degrees of tilt. Now, one thing that they've done here to keep the price down on this display is that there are no shortcut keys. As you can see, it's just a clean front. Let's talk about the build and the experience of using this display. It is exactly what I expected. It's not amazing, but it's solid. It's good. It works well for what it is. There's some extra buttons along the top for adjusting the display's colors and the contrast and that sort of thing. As I mentioned before, it also comes with the stand, and you can position that stand at almost any angle. Works really well. Even comes with a little tool screwdriver thingy to attach it with. Now that stand mixed with this monitor, it's all pretty big. It takes up a lot of space on your desk. If you have something this big, and it is very big, you're probably going to want to use it as a monitor as well, which is nice that it goes up to a full 90 degrees, and it's really easy to set up and prop. I want to thank today's sponsor, Squarespace.
You already know that Squarespace is the all-in-one platform to build a professional website, online store, or portfolio, but you can do so much more. Once your site is set up, you can grow and engage your audience with Squarespace's email campaigns. Create powerful email content that matches your website with your existing products, blog posts, and logo so that your messaging is consistent and effective. Schedule messages, manage your email list, and even set up automations all within Squarespace's easy-to-use interface.
Head to squarespace.com for a free trial. When you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/BradColbo to save 10% on your first purchase of a website or domain. So first, let's take a look at this pen. The main thing that I'm looking for is if I press lightly, how light of a line am I gonna get? And as I apply pressure, does it apply that pressure smoothly? And overall, it does. This is something we've seen from Huion pens over the last several years, that they do really, really well, and that continues here. The other thing that I am looking for are really light lines. I am looking for what is called the initial activation rate. How much pressure do I have to apply to get a line? I am pressing very lightly here, and I'm getting a very light line, which is exactly what I'm looking for. So it checks all those pressure boxes. The next thing I like to look for on these kind of devices is how straight of a line can I make? Is there any wobble? Is there any jitter? And I can detect a tiny amount. Some of this is my hand as I'm drawing lines, but this feels very good. And that's something that Huion devices, again, have dramatically improved on over the last several years. And then the last thing I check are just fast hatch lines. Just how are these looking? How are they tapering? And again, these are tapering very, very well. I'm not seeing anything odd. Sometimes you'll get this weird shoelace thing on a line where if you let go really quickly, the lines will get really wonky, but that's not happening here. I think the pressure is applied equally, and it's doing pretty well. So that is the pen. If you're wondering, hey, how does it stack up to something that Wacom puts out? I think it stacks up extraordinarily well. I would put it at about 90% of what I would see a Wacom device do. And I think for most illustrators and artists, you're probably not going to notice the difference. One cool feature that Huion has been adding to some of their pen displays is the ability for them now to work with Android phones through some of the software that comes with them, like Samsung's DeX. What the heck is DeX? Well, DeX allows you to plug your Android phone or tablet into a monitor and then basically use it in desktop mode. It turns into a desktop computer. You're still using the same apps that you have on your phone, you just have a slightly different interface that looks a lot more like Windows. So if you don't have your own computer, but you still want to draw, you might be able to use your phone instead. There's a compatibility list over on Huion's website. I'll put it up here on the screen as well. It looks like that there's a bunch of Samsung devices. Most of them that are on this list come with pens or are higher end, more expensive phones. There's a handful of other ones there as well. There's some Huawei devices, things like that. But overall, I'd say most of the things on this list are probably on the higher end of the price spectrum. One thing to know, and is important to point out, is not every Android app is gonna work perfectly. Some, like ArtFlow and Infinite Painter, they're great, but others like Medibang and the most heartbreaking for me, Clip Studio, don't have pressure sensitivity, which makes them pretty much a no-go for my use. If you don't have a laptop of your own, but you still want to draw on a big screen like this might be an option for you. I'm kind of lukewarm on this. I don't think it's there yet. If you're okay with just using one or two apps, it works, I guess. I think it's a nice bonus for people who want it. It wouldn't be my primary focus if I was buying this tablet. Another thing to know is that Android apps are designed to be used as touch interfaces, and the Canvas 22 Plus doesn't have a touch screen on it. So in order to use it effectively, you have to turn your phone or your tablet into a touch screen, and then you could do things like pinch and zoom or tap on various things if you need to. It's not the most, the apps just aren't designed to be used that way. It works, but it's not super intuitive. Let's talk about the pros and the cons. The pros is this device is solid and is a pretty good price for what it is. Drawing is solid, the screen is solid, the build quality is solid. The DeX stuff, has some kinks to work out. So overall, I think for the price, it is a very good device. And I think that if you want to save a little bit of money and get a slightly less of a screen, you could do that. And I like how Huion has kind of differentiated those two price points. But what do you think? Let me know down below in the comments. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll talk to you in a couple of days.